Hello, welcome back to Blender Sushi Live Coding. In this video, we're gonna take a look at the creations of this kind of pattern. I don't know what to call this pattern, but you might recall my older video that's kind of touching this kind of design. And back then, I was using animation nodes and Blender cycles kind of to do the rotation thing. I'll try to do this again, but this time I'm gonna use Grease Pencil and actually using Sverchok to recreate this kind of pattern. And you will end up with this kind of procedural kind of pattern, and this is actually really interesting. I don't know how to explain it, but this to make something like this, it's become really simple. All you need to provide is some kind of tileable pattern, and moreover, you can actually modify it and make it turn it into something like this, or even more if I kind of use a vector noise, making it like a kind of a complex design that you can turn into 3D mesh like this. So let's get started. It's pretty simple once you understand what's going on. I think the whole process is actually quite interesting, so I want to share it with you. I'll call this Quirky tile. I think there's a name for it. I can't remember what it is. Let's jump straight away to Sverchok. I figured out how to do this when I was playing around with the Grease Pencil. So you start with kind of this pattern. I'm just gonna draw it using Grease Pencil. So you have this kind of curve that's kind of doing this, and you have another curve that's kind of doing that. And if you imagine this four square as a tile, and you kind of make a grid of this tile and then kind of rotating it randomly, you will actually end up with that tile that I was showing it to you just now. Because this guy, the top part will connect with the bottom part, and this left will connect with the right side. So yeah, let's give it a try. Have a look. First of all, in Sverchok, we're gonna use object ID and just get the Grease Pencil data. And this part is pretty simple. That's our data. It's just a bunch of points being generated from Grease Pencil. We have too many points here, so I want to use vector interpolations just to resample this thing. Okay, so we've done this a couple of times. Should be pretty simple. Just resample it 10 times. It doesn't matter how many times you want to resample it. But anyway, you resample it and then you use UV connections and set it to edges, and we get a result. And with this result, currently we have two data. If I bake it out, it's becoming like a two edges. So we don't want that. We want to just simply join it. So we're gonna use mesh join. Just join these two data together. So we have it as a single, like a pair of lines. Currently it doesn't really make sense, but once I use this matrix in, and I'm using plain MK2 and plug this into the locations, and then let's generate some kind of grid. Make it 10 by 10. So now you started to see, okay, it's starting to make sense, right? It's like making this kind of pattern. It's like a wave pattern. The end part doesn't connect because I was using Grease Pencil, but we can always fix it. I think if we want to be, we know that Grease Pencil actually can be edited. So edit strokes. I'll try to just move this guy. So this is something that I actually like about Grease Pencil. it has a lot of potential for any kind of procedural kind of creations. So that's kind of better. Update it. Same with the other, this part. Edit strokes. We can actually display the grease pencil points somewhere. Show points. Okay, we have a lot of points here. Sometimes it's a good idea to just maybe use proportional. Where is the proportional editing? This guy, proportional edit. So now we can just move a whole bunch of points that way. This part is especially important. So that's a little bit better. Update it. Now you see Sverchok updates everything, and now you can see the point is better, kind of better position. Okay, cool. So we have this. We can control the resampling. Okay, we'll just give it like a small number. Save this. And now I'll do a little bit of randomizations. All we need to do here to make that pattern is just to rotate the angle. By default, this rotation is in the z-axis, so it's perfect for what we are doing. So you see what's going on here? Simply by rotating our pattern, it creates this interesting, intricate pattern. If I set it to 0, it looks like that. If I set it to 90, it looks like that. 180, 270. Actually, we only have like 2 possibilities. What's interesting here is we can, instead of using this number here, we can use our own number angle. Like let's use list input and have 4 possibilities: 0, 90, 180, and 270. And we simply use these values and plug it into the angle, and using list item here, kind of to randomize the rotations. So we only have 4 possibilities. And for the item itself, because this is in Sverchok, you can just use random number generator. And we need to generate, I believe, because this is a grid of 10 by 10, we actually have 121 vertices, if I'm not wrong. This length, stethoscope. Actually, okay, we have 100 here, so I might be wrong. 100 position. Okay, we have 100 position, so I'll just set 100 here and plug this number into the item, and now we should have something. Maybe this item needs to be level 2, level 1. I'm not quite sure. Just keep increasing the size until we get all the rotations. So it's actually 200. $256. Yeah, I wonder. Maybe 4 times. I know why. Low and height. I need to set it to between 0 and 4 or 0 and 3. Let's check the value first. 4, 3, okay. It should be between 0 and 3, and the value should be, the size should be 100. Okay, now this is correct. Okay, so we end up with this pattern already. It's pretty easy, right? And then you can make this larger. Now we have like 200. We can randomize this guy, just make a little bit of variations. In fact, if we want to output this guy properly, currently we have like this matrix 200. We want to combine them into a single object, so we need to use apply matrix to mesh, vertices, edges, and the matrix, and the output can go like this. If we bake it, we end up with these objects. Pretty cool. And if we try to smooth it, you will see that they are still separated, so we don't want that. We don't want that. We need to join them properly, so we need to use remove doubles just to connect the points if they're like close together. So that will clean up the points there. If we bake it again now, and if we smooth it, everything should be nice and connected. Okay, we can actually do something further here, probably like extrude edges, vertices, polygon edges. Oh, this guy is actually can be quite heavy. Matrix in. Vector in. Extrude in the z-axis. There we go. That's the design we want. It's a little bit slow here with the extrude edges, but that's okay. I guess if we bake it now, we have like a proper mesh here, and I can make it nice with a matte cap and normal top view. So there you go. That's this is the pattern that I was talking about. I don't know what it's called, but this is there's actually like one book that's talking about this this kind of pattern. It's basically similar kind of algorithm that you can use if you're generating this what do you call this, using your keyboard and just typing in something like this, and then you randomize it, or I think you call it slash or backslash, just like randomly designing this, and then you make duplicates, and then kind of randomizing these characters. You can end up with something like this kind of pattern. This is actually quite interesting, something worth trying. But yeah, we started with a grease pencil, remember, and we end up with something like this, which is totally unusual, I guess. Just now I just made changes to the frame, and then since the grease pencil is still connected to Sverchok, it's gonna try to update the design. Maybe we don't need to wait, but we already see the final result here. So yeah, this is exactly something that I want to show you. if you have any question, any feedback, just let me know down below. But yeah, this is, I think it's quite interesting. If you can imagine like if you want to design like a tile and you just draw the tile using grease pencil, you can now generate something like this pretty easily. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. And thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.